Good day, engineering thinkers. Welcome to Engineering Thinking by IK. I'm your host, Sean. It's good to see you all back here with us today. I've got an incredible guest lined up for today's episode. He's someone with over 3 decades of leadership and project management experience, someone who's very passionate about coaching and consulting as well. He's also had many years of experience in the top leadership positions, I would say. He's the ex-managing director of Schindler Malaysia. He's currently the president of the KL and Selangor Property Investors Club, and is also on the Lift and Escalator Consultancy panel on behalf of the Malaysian government. More importantly, he's a master of everything TVET, the Technical Vocational Educational and Training program that is going to lay the future groundwork of Malaysian engineers everywhere. So we're very pleased and very honored to have Dr. Wei Jye with us today, who's taking time out of his very busy schedule to share his insights and wisdoms with us. So please stay tuned. Okay, engineering thinkers, now that we've got the introductions out of the way, we're going to start with block 1 of our program. The first part is where we examine the origin story of our guest. So we treat all our guests like superheroes of engineering, but we need to know how they got to where they are today. So Dr. Lee, could you share with our audience your journey, basically the origin point of your engineering journey? What was it like for you growing up?
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for inviting me to this event. To go back on the aspect of engineering journey, I was quite lucky that my late father trained me quite well. I actually started working at the age of 12 years old. So I'm actually independent at the age of 12 years old, and then so the life was quite difficult at that point of time. So I was giving tuition, doing a lot of part-time job, and there's at one moment when I was giving a tuition, if I could recall correctly, those primary school children like standard 1. Then I realized that their house like hair dryer, TV was having trouble. So in my mind, I was thinking, if I could have able to repair this TV and hair dryer, I can earn a little bit more money. Then that's where I started going bookshop, look for books, learn how to repair those electronics products. That's where my journey started in engineering line. It's about 15 years old where I start to repair TVs, radio, hair dryer, and all sorts of household products.
Wow, that's incredible. So you had the curiosity to tinker and experiment and fix all these appliances and goods, right? So that sort of set you on your path towards being interested or curious, more curious about the engineering field. So can you share with us a little bit about your education journey in terms of engineering? How maybe that's a little bit different from some of our previous guests.
As coming from a poor family, we do not have actually a lot of time to study. Basically, I have to work and study at the same time. So what happened is my education result was not really that good, and I not able to manage to go into any university. So what happened is I was actually after my STPM, and my SPM result was quite bad. So I apply using my hobby in electronic engineering. So actually I applied TAR College at the time, electronic engineering. But I was not given a praise as my result was not good. Right. So TAR College was at that time asked me to hold on to it for backup. So I managed to went in when someone not taking up the seats at the second or third backup. So my education and engineering started from actually in TAR College.
Right, okay. So what sort of motivated you to persevere and to continue to chase that position at TAR College? What was inspiring you to just, let's stick with it?
When I was in TAR College, I graduated with diploma in electronic engineering at the year of 1990. So at that time, 1990, with the diploma, it's quite difficult to find job in engineering as there's many degree holder up there. So I got a job as a lift technician in Schindler as a technician. So my job was actually as a technician. It was tough time as a technician. We had to go to job site. We had to learn all sorts of basic engineering things for lift and escalator. That's where my starting point of the official working life in engineering.
What are some of the skills that you picked up when you were starting off as a technician in Schindler that you think really helped you before you moved on to other ventures?
Engineering skill is actually not that much. At that time, 1990, when we as an employee want to learn, all these seafood will be very reluctant to teach. So we are not giving opportunity to learn. For example, we want to have a circuit diagram of the lift. The senior to say that no, you cannot have it. We want to have a test plan. They say sorry, you cannot have it. So our job mainly is just a laborer. We help them to carry things, to carry weight, to carry guide rail. So our job is like those laborer only. So there's not much thing we can learn because a long time ago, it's not like now that there's a lot of opportunity. There's no opportunity for us to learn at that moment of time.
So, but you had your own initiative, right, to learn about the different circuitry and the different background electronics of the lift and escalator systems. That's how you learned. Basically, you had to do your own research. I assume that's what you mean. Because the answers were not just given to you while you were there.
Yes, so when I was technician, I was thinking that salary was low. How can I progress in engineering? So at that point of time, my mind is only engineering. How can I progress in engineering? Right. So when I can't learn much from the company, so I start to do my distance learning. At that point of time, it's called engineering council. So I was actually doing those hawker at Starbucks there, selling night market. At the same time, also I go for distance learning in engineering course. I was quite lucky. I managed to pass engineering council part 2 with a straight pass, just with one attempt. During that time, as what I know, worldwide the passing rate is only about 1 to 2%. So I managed to pass using about 600 ringgit and in about 6 months, which equivalent to an engineering degree from university. So I make it in 6 months where people make it in 4 years.
That's incredible. And that's a very low passing rate, less than 2%.
Yes, it's very low passing rate. Yeah, that is the reason not many people will go for this kind of distance learning because the passing rate is far too low to be able to pass. People will prefer to go to university. But for me is I can't enter university and I have no money and no time to do it. So this is the only path that I can take.
Right. And so for our engineering thinkers, just remember there are alternatives as long as you're willing to put in the work. And it doesn't matter what the chances or probability of succeeding is, as long as you give it a good try, then there's a chance you might succeed, right? And for Dr. Lee, your pathway is definitely maybe a bit unconventional or non-standard, but you still got the engineering credentials that you strived for, that you worked for. So I think this is a really good, hopeful message to those out there who are not going through the standard college or university pathway. Do you agree with that?
Yes, as long as you have the determinations, you can actually do it. So I recall after passing my engineering council, my university friends will say that engineering council is not really recognized by Board of Engineers Malaysia. You can't register to be a professional engineer. For me, is I want to give it a try because I know that my engineering council passing marks no good, just pass only without A and B. But I tried to apply to Board of Engineers Malaysia to be a graduate engineer, but I think luck is good also. I successfully become the graduate engineer of Board of Engineers Malaysia, and by the age of 27 years old, I'm already the professional engineer, registered with the Board of Engineers Malaysia.
Right. And so, Dr. Lee, a lot of what you've done so far in terms of your professional education and academic education is a lot of distance and remote learning. So that's also, I guess, a very strong alternative for people who perhaps don't have the ability to physically be at those institutions to do remote learning. So remote learning for you has been a very successful way for you to pursue your engineering dream.
It's actually very tough, but it's possible. It's possible. You may have to study until midnight. You have to have good time management, but it's possible.
So we thank Dr. Lee for sharing his journey, his very unique journey in basically acquiring his engineering credentials through the very challenging, very stringent remote learning section of his life. But now we're going to move on to the second part of our show. Now that we've got the basic background of Dr. Lee's origin story, we're going to talk more about the highlight of his career and what he's currently doing. Stay with us. Engineering thinkers, welcome back to our second segment of the show, which is the highlight. This is our opportunity to delve more into Dr. Lee's professional career and what he's currently focusing on. For this episode, we're going to focus primarily on Malaysia. So, Dr. Lee, can you talk a little bit more and introduce what TVET is?
Okay, thank you for the questions. TVET actually has been in Malaysia for many years, but the perception for TVET is totally different last time compared with now. So go back to my story last time, actually after my SPM, when my result was not too good and I like electronic engineering, I actually applied to enroll to a vocational school at Stapa. But I got rejected by them. They say that vocational school or skill training, TVET, is for students who actually fail the exam. It's not for those that pass the exam. So anyone who pass the exam is not welcome to the vocational school. That is the impression of TVET training. So what happened now, there was a year like 1995, TVET training has started. So what happened, TVET has evolved. So what happened is TVET evolved. Now Malaysia, they want to become a developed country and to increase engineering workers' salary. So how to do it? As what we know is, in order to work in engineering company, we need to be productive. We need to be productive, we need to know how to do the job. So imagine if we have an engineering degree, do you think that you know how to do the job? So engineering degree student normally, they will good in theory, they can do drawing, they can do secretary, they can do calculation. So when ask them to do something, for example, service aircon, do some weldings, whatever job at the job site, most of them, they can't do it. So they are good in classroom, but they do not have the skill to perform. So that is the biggest issue in Malaysia here, where engineering students do not have the skill to work. So what government do is, government now is motivating more students now to take TVET, because TVET basically give you the skill to perform. So if we are the company boss or managing director, we want our worker to perform. Why? To perform, to have the skill to perform, to earn the money for us. We do not want to have engineering students who have a degree who can't perform the skill. That is mainly where it comes from.
But Dr. Lee, I want to ask you, so let's say we have some of our listeners or viewers, they are currently undertaking an engineering degree. So they might ask you, well, Dr. Lee, how can I actually get involved in TVET if I'm already taking my engineering degree? What should I do?
Okay, if you have already taken, currently taken your engineering degree, that's good. It's actually good to take engineering degree, but at the same time, you can also ask back your university. Many universities now already start to set up their faculty TVET, like UniKL and many others. Why they want to set up the faculty TVET? Because under the new OSHA regulation, it's stated there that if we want to employ anyone to work at the job site means doing servicing, maintenance, whatever at the job site, the employee must be properly trained and have the skill, or else we can't send this worker to job site. And therefore, skill training is one of the competency the worker required to have under the law to work at site. And now many universities already start to set up this faculty. So for example, if they are taking mechanical engineering, degree in mechanical engineering, they can take another TVET course at the same time. For example, welding. Do welding, then they become a certified welder. And actually, when the person graduated, a certified welder, they say for oil and gas, can earn more money than using the engineering degree in mechanical engineering. That's how it works.
So it's sort of like a supporting role that TVET has, so they can do both at the same time. What do you think? Is it going to be manageable for most people to do the TVET certification and the engineering degree, in your experience, or has this already been done by a lot of Malaysian engineers?
It's actually possible. I would say that they do not have much choice if they want to progress in their career. Engineering degree is just like a certificate to open the door for you to join the company.
Right.
In order for you to perform in the company, to go up higher, you need the skill. That's where the TVET come in. So TVET is coming in at the next stage. But if they have the stage, if they can learn the skill before they graduate, then they can progress in engineering career much faster.
So it actually improves their employment opportunities
Yes,
when they graduate. So Dr. Lee, I want to ask you as well, what are some of the TVET skill courses you think that are beneficial for a lot of the undergraduates in Malaysia? What sort of TVET courses do you recommend that they consider or take?
Okay, I have to get the manual for one.
Yeah, that's okay.
So you look at this manual here is from government, JPK, DAFTA standard, it's called NOSH. There is thousands of TVET courses, thousands of TVET courses. So they can choose how to, for example, how to service aircon, how to make the door. There is many. It's up to them to select what interests them. It's too many. So
right.
we can say in such a way that, for example, mechanical engineering is just mechanical engineering.
Yes.
But inside mechanical engineering, there's another like 300 TVET courses that they can zoom in. So it's considered a specialized. Inside there is another specialized. You make yourself so specialized that make your market price higher.
That's excellent. So really, the TVET courses, there are literally thousands to choose from. There's almost no excuse that you can't find something that you can take on the side, right? But I want to ask you then, Dr. Lee, you said that these requirements, these skill requirements are now codified into Malaysian law. So how does this impact those businesses that are involved in engineering contracts, or how about people who are already in sort of technicians and engineering fields? Should they then immediately look for TVET courses to enroll in? What is your advice to everyone?
Okay, get another book. So on the law requirement on skill training, you can refer to this OSHA, Act of basically the law of Malaysia,
right.
Which actually they revise these regulations, means approved in Parliament at the year of 2022 and start enforcing last year, 1st of June 2024. So what happened is I give a sample of the TVET cert. It looks something like this. Okay, so what they can do is, in order for the employee to take the TVET course, they need to know exactly what kind of work that they are in. For example, a lift servicing engineer, their mechanical engineering degree will be useful, but they need to take SKM, means TVET cert in lift and escalator maintenance, in order to qualify them to work at the job site. And DOSH, or government officer, JKP, has actually started to enforce. For example, if you want to do lift modernizations without the TVET cert, actually you are not allowed to do it anymore. There's a directive already issued out by the government.
All right, so obviously compliance is important for this, but in your view, what are some of like the qualities of people that succeed in TVET? Do they need to be more hands-on kinds of individuals? In your experience, what are the individuals' values and attributes do you think important for success in this field?
We go back to the university engineering course. So university engineering course more on, we can say that it's like 80% theory, 20% practical for most of the university. TVET is the reverse. So TVET is like 80% practical, 20% theory. So for whoever want to pass the TVET cert, you really need to know the skill how to do the job. It's hands-on. So TVET exam is about, the TVET exam is the examiner will examine you, ask you to perform the job. Let's say you want to take the TVET cert for welding. You have to demo in front of the examiner how to weld it properly. So it's about skill, performing the job, and make sure the job is done properly. Then you can pass the exam. So that is the criteria that whoever want to pass the TVET exam, they need to really hands-on.
So they have to really sort of get their hands occupied with the materials itself.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So that's maybe how they can balance their more theory-focused, sort of academic focus in university, and then with TVET they get the real hands-on experience. So I would say it's actually quite complementary to each other. The two sort of assist each other to help produce a more complete engineering candidate. Would you agree with that?
Yes, it's correct. We go back to engineering career, for example, professional engineer with Board Engineer Malaysia. So professional engineer also have two categories. One is called professional engineer. The other category is called professional engineer with practicing certificate, PEPC. So only the PEPC can actually practice engineering, sign drawing, sign document. But the professional engineer, basically they are the lecturer. It's exactly the same. So TVET is someone that really can perform the job like PEPC. Okay, engineering graduate will be like PE, but PEPC will be like TVET.
Right.
So even Board of Engineer Malaysia also practice now. If you're not the PEPC, basically you can't perform the engineering work.
So Dr. Lee, I also want to ask you, a few weeks ago you were actually training TVET students, and you represent the government when you do this. You're a TVET master and you're certified by the government. Can you tell us a bit of your experience coaching people in TVET, and what has that been like for you? What's your experience?
Okay. Thank you for the good questions. So for the last few weeks and few months, I have been coaching and teaching those students. Actually, they are from government departments. They are like, most of them, they are professional engineers, degree in engineering, master degree. But why they still want to learn TVET? Because first thing, under the law, they have no choice. Second, they realize that for them as a general IR or professional engineer, their skill is not enough for them to perform the job. So this government officer, their job is like supervised engineering job. But they really feel that their knowledge is too general. They do not have the skill to verify whether the job is properly done or not, and to sign the paper to hand over. So they do not have. So they are actually taking this TVET course in order to sharpen their knowledge. So they may have a degree in mechanical engineering. Now we sharpen their knowledge so that they can perform the precise job for that particular job.
Right. So it's actually to sort of enhance what they already know or what they think they know, but actually, there's other better ways to do it. That's interesting. Now, Dr. Lee, I want to ask you, because although you found a different alternative way to get your engineering credentials, how did you gain the skills personally? How did you gain the skills to become an effective mentor and coach? Did you just pick up the communication skills by yourself, or were you mentored by someone else?
That it go back to about 30 years ago. Actually, before I enter TAR College to study my engineering degree, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. So I apply for Mata Pengguruan in order to be a teacher, but my SPM result was not that good. So I was actually not able to do it. But my dream to be a teacher has been quite a long time. So I actually have a diploma in training and development. I have quite a number of qualifications for training, which I started about 30 years ago. But you go back to TVET, I thought that I am actually qualified to do teaching. So when I get to know TVET, I only realized that actually I'm not qualified. Yeah, there is many more knowledge to learn to be a TVET teacher. For example, if you really want to be a TVET instructor, under the government policy, you must have a TVET-I certificate. TVET-I means TVET instructor, level 4. So TVET instructor is totally different for a normal teacher. Yeah.
I see, okay. So basically you had in your mind the vision of becoming a teacher, and sort of this has translated into your ability to coach people now. What do you think are some of the key skills for you personally when, for example, let's go back a bit to your time when you were running Schindler, right? And so how has those leadership skills translated into your TVET mastery now, do you think? For example, when you manage people, when you try to look at people's strengths and weaknesses, has that been a good sort of transition from your leadership roles in Schindler, and now you're obviously training future TVET masters? ostensibly?
As a leader in the company, we can only become effective as the boss or the managing director of the company. We depend on people to work for us. So without a good employee or motivated employee, there's no way we can sit up there. So it's very important that we have to coach our people, understand them, train them up so that they can do the job. So that actually the journey to be a managing director in the company has helped me how to identify the gap of different individuals and their interests. And one thing is important is not everyone is suitable for certain industry of the job. So if it's not suitable, then we'll ask them to choose another job because everyone have their own hobbies or their own future.
All right. And so I also wanted to talk not just on TVET also, now I'd like to explore sort of the other auxiliary activities that you're involved in, and Dr. Lee is involved in many, many activities. It's also the president of the KL Selangor Property Investors Club. So I want to ask you, Dr. Lee, I think some people may be also surprised that someone that is involved primarily in lift and escalator maintenance and modernization can also be involved in property investing. So how did that come about? Can you just give us a brief introduction about that?
It go back to my age of 12 years old. At the time that we have nothing to eat, my family have nothing to eat, we really need money. So when I started my engineering career as a technician, I mentioned before, my mind will keep on thinking that one day I do not want to go back like last time. We have no food to eat, no place to stay. So the financial planning is very important. So as time passed, I realized one thing is, as a technician, as an engineer, there is not much we can earn. Yeah, because engineers, technicians were always under a manager, were always under a managing director. So our salary as an engineer is quite difficult to be more than managers, and really want to be a more comfortable life is difficult. So what happened is when I was working in the lift industry, we always go to job site, high-rise, condominium, apartment. So it gave me the opportunity to look at building. So I'll ask around what happened to this building, what is the selling price, what is the rental price, because when we always deal with the building managers. So that gave me a lot of knowledge. And also we always deal with developer because we are selling lift to the developer, and we also know from the developer where will be the next development for the 3 and 5 years. So I have the advanced information on the property, on the existing property, and for the new launching. So from that, it gave me some ideas. So I feel that with all this information, I can do something else. That's where I start my journey into property, because I have upper hand informations.
Right. And how did you actually, because you mentioned that your industry contacts with lift and escalator projects gave you an upper hand. What were some of the other advantages you got from basically working in the field? Was it basically a lot more networking? Did you get to know a lot of people? Is this how you grew your personal and professional network to be more successful in the property investment field? Is that how it was done?
Yes. So for example, that I will meet many Tan Sri. Last time is the late Tan Sri of IOI. So when I want to sell lift to him, we will have a tender meeting with him. So we will get means advanced information from the developers, where is the launching, and sometimes we can get a special price from them.
Right.
So all this upper hand information will make property investment easier last time. So that's where I start my journey. And also sometime for information, if you go to a building to maintain the lift, for example, and the lift, let's say, have a lot of problems, and we quote the customer to repair the lift, and the customer has no money, means the JMB has no sinking fund. And for example, if there's a 6 lift at the condo, 4 lifts have to be shut down, left with 2 lifts running, and 4 lifts, they have no money to repair. Will you invest in that condo? So obviously no. So that is kind of information I get, which enable me to know where to invest.
I see. Okay. So it has sort of provided you a lot of benefits having that sort of background in the industry, and also your ability to socially network with the right individuals. So I would definitely say to our viewers and listeners that these are important skills to pick up, not just looking at the technical side
Yeah.
of engineering. Like all these support skills actually help make the individual a more complete engineer, I suppose, if you want to say that. Now I'd like to go back to TVET here, and it was mentioned before, Dr. Lee, that you're also a chartered professional engineer, right? And so that has obviously impacted your credentials and your success as a TVET coach. Can you advise our engineering thinkers how can they start their journey to actually get towards being a chartered professional engineer in your experience?
TVET and professional engineer or chartered professional engineer is totally two different things.
Okay.
Two different things. Okay. SKM or TVET is actually recognized under MQA. One day can be a professional engineer, but professional engineer can't become TVET. So TVET is something that's stronger than professional engineer.
Oh.
Yes. So for example, we go back to the TVET certification for building operation management building. We have level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. So when you have level 3 building operation management, you can actually use it to register with professional engineers. Okay, you can actually register with. But vice versa, you can't as a professional engineer. If you say that I want to get exempted with the TVET cert until level 5, not possible. So TVET always start from bottom. So in reality, you can see that TVET is something that more systematic and more powerful.
I see. So it's not exactly interchangeable, but from TVET to the professional credential,
okay.
yes.
So one thing we can say that SKM3 or TVET SKM3, you can use it to register for MBOT. But as an MBOT TS, you can't go to TVET to say that I want the TVET cert, not possible. So TVET is more powerful, and very soon TVET will have SKM 6, 7 and 8 until PhD. So TVET is a different path. TVET is called a skill path. Professional engineer or the normal engineering is academic path. It's totally different. But the skill path is being recognized here, but the academic part is not being recognized as a TVET. It's the other way.
But of course, Dr. Lee, you would actually recommend for our audience to have both.
Yes, correct.
There's no reason to have both right now that you've outlined that there's so many thousands of TVET courses they can enroll for, and the credits can be used to apply for the professional board recognition, right? Now, how about some of the individuals that might say, well, Dr. Lee, how long does it take to get TVET certification in your view for, let's say, someone that is still in education or training? They might say, well, Dr. Lee, do I really have time to do this, right? How long does a course take usually?
There is certain standard durations, recommended durations under JPK.
Right.
TVET lowest level, which normally SKM2, 2 years skill experience. TVET SKM3, 3 years. SKM4, 4 years. SKM5, 5 years. So if you really want to be a TVET master, you can do teaching as an instructor, you need 10 years. 10 years experience. So TVET is something that you have to be very, very good. That's why when you have the TVET cert, you can fetch very good salary because you're the expert of the expert. What you can do, degree in engineering student can't do, but you can do. You can do the job. So it's a lot different. So we go back to as an instructor. The normal what people say is TTT. In order to be TTT certified, you just need to attend 1 week course. Then you register with HRDF to be at the accredited trainers. That's it. But in order to be a proper TVET instructor, it takes you 10 years.
So to clarify with our audience, TTT is train the trainer, right?
Yes.
And it's quite a common course
correct.
that's offered for basically training future consultants. But it's not interchangeable with being a TVET master because
no.
TVET mastery, as you've just mentioned, up to 10 years. But you would recommend for our audience that maybe SKM3, level 3 is good enough to have the credits to become a accredited professional engineer.
MBOT.
MBOT, right.
Yeah.
But so at minimum it takes 2 years to actually get the proper certification for TVET. Is that right?
Yeah, minimum for 2 years for the lowest level, which is SKM2, and in order to register with TVET as a TC, you need SKM3 in the respective field. If you have SKM3 in facial, then you can't register with MBOT. MBOT is something that related to buildings or engineering. Then with SKM3, you can register as a TC minimum with MBOT because it's actually recognized by MBOT.
Right. So let's just pretend for a minute I'm someone that just graduated from university. I've got my engineering degree now, but I've just watched this episode with you, Dr. Lee, and I want to think, well, I want to be able to have greater success in my field. I want to be recognized, and eventually I want to be recognized as a board certified engineer. So would you then recommend that I don't just take the lowest level of TVET training? I have to go for the 3 or 4 year program. Is that in addition to what I've already done? So you might recommend that I do remote learning. Is that even possible with TVET? Not really, because it's hands-on, isn't it?
Okay, for new graduate from university, I will recommend this. I'll recommend this based on experience. First thing is you find a job. You find engineering job because you're in engineering line. Let's say you find an engineering job, then it's good that you find an engineering job that suit your interest or your hobby. If you are a person like to go to job site, you find a job that can always enable you to go to job site. So let's say you find a job site, a job that to supervise, let's say building wiring job.
Yeah.
Wiring job. So what you do at the same time, you also take this experience to prepare yourself for professional engineer exam. At the same time, when you're doing your job, you learn how to do wiring, how to bend the trunking, how to do the wiring. So that at the same time, if you're preparing for the professional engineer career, you're also preparing for the TVET career, side by side. So when you get your professional engineer, and by the time you get your PEPC, you are also a very skillful person in wiring. And then it makes you easier to supervise on the job because you already know. And your technician cannot really bluff you or cheat you that it's supposed to be that, it's supposed to be that, because you know, not just paper, but you are a hands-on person. So you can actually go side by side and it gives you a better career.
Right, that's excellent advice. So you can do it simultaneously, actually,
yes,
to
correct.
get the maximum benefit out of it.
Correct.
Okay. Now, Dr. Lee, I am actually very surprised to hear about this because I think a lot of people are not aware of the importance of TVET. So has it been challenging for you to raise awareness about the importance of TVET? Because a lot of people, like we mentioned before, they go through the conventional pathways, right? They say, well, Dr. Lee, I'm going to graduate from an engineering faculty, I'm going to become a technician, then junior engineer, then senior engineer, then project management, and maybe consultant after that. But you're saying, actually, this is not going to be the way moving forward. This is not what the future of engineering looks like in Malaysia. So has it been difficult for you to raise awareness about TVET, even as a TVET master?
Yes, correct. I started my TVET career about 4 years ago. So about 4 years ago, this new law was actually not actually implemented yet. So at that moment, 4 years ago, when I do that, people say, Mr. Lee, it's useless for you to do this. No one will attend your class. What you're doing is for low rank of people. It's not going to be useful. But suddenly, the law changed. Come up with the new directive, the new regulation. It becomes the other way. People look for me. People look for me and want to book my schedule far in advance to teach them, to certify them. So I have also actually for people to book me 6 months in advance to do it. Because why? For those bosses, they got to know compliance to law is actually one of the main requirements. They may not be focused too much, want to spend money to teach their people, but they need to know compliance to law. If they do not have this kind of certificate, they really can't do the job anymore.
Right, so it's basically compulsory, yes, but the people that succeed the most, in your view, in TVET are the ones that actually are interested in that higher level understanding of practical hands-on engineering.
Correct.
Would you say that's accurate?
Correct, yes.
Okay, that's very good. And now to go back once again to what it must be like for engineering graduates. So what are some of the successful case studies in your view of people that actually they had their engineering degree done and then they also pursued TVET? In your view, do they, for example, what are their job opportunities like with the SKM3 mastery, or if it's higher, do they earn a lot more in your experience, or is there a lot more job offers for them?
Do have few cases that degree in engineering student come to attend TVET course and go for exam, but they can't pass the exam. They have a degree in engineering, and some of them they are the professional engineer, but when they sit for TVET exam, they can't pass the exam. So quite a number of them can't pass the exam. The failure rate is quite high because why? Those employees, they are good in classroom, they are good in design, but when we ask them to hands-on, they actually do not know what to do.
So there's actually a gap.
It's a gap.
There's a gap between what your expectations are and what industry
expects.
Yes,
correct.
But the academic institutions are not sort of graduating classes which are prepared for what the industry demands. So that is going to be an obstacle.
The university currently graduate, those university graduate, they are more on academic, not on skill.
Just on theory.
Yeah. So I have another case where there is a technician actually look for me. So the technician told me that he has been working as a technician. He feel that there's no career for him. He do not have enough money to earn for his family. So I actually recommended him for the TVET. And he joined the TVET exam and he passed with fly color because he really know how to work using the hand. So he has been progressing his TVET career, and his salary has been 3 times since 2 years. And his current salary, even though he don't have a degree, but he has a TVET cert, and his current salary is higher than the degree holder. Because why? He know how to work, he know how to contribute to the company. But where else, those degree in engineering graduate can only talk, can't work.
I see. Yeah. So it's really that gap, the difference in practical experience is really making a difference both knowledge-wise, but also economically speaking. I mean, triple the salary is a huge bump up, right? And I think that in your view, I'm sure you agree that moving forward as we forecast into the future for engineering here in Malaysia, I think this is going to be the norm. Do you agree with that, or more people are going to have to look into TVET?
This TVET will be the future of Malaysia. So I have actually a few months ago, Deputy Prime Minister stay at my homestay. So I have a session with him. So our Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia, Yang Muhammad Jahid, actually say that the in thing is the TVET, government will support and push for it. So in order for Malaysia to be a developed country, TVET will be the fundamental, the base. How to be a developed country is our people need to have the skill to work, not just talking. Okay, so government going to push through the TVET. Okay, if you watch our Ministry of Human Resource, he himself will also attend TVET courses, and in future those TVET candidates who pass the exam, the basic salary maybe one day it will raise from 1,007 to 2,005. Government is planning for that. Okay, so you can expect we will be sooner or later like Australia or Germany. Those that really want to work at the job site, if you are not really certified or having the skill, you can't work at the site anymore. So we are aiming for that.
Right, and I think from what I've read in the engineering journals, is what I understand is basically for every 100 people almost in Germany, they have one kind of engineer. So that's the ratio, and it's not as good here in Malaysia. So I'm sure you can agree that probably with the TVET program, we can get closer to where Germany is, because German engineers are quite numerous, and so we want that as well, to have the same ratio as engineers to the general populace as a country like Germany. So I think TVET could probably help us achieve that, no?
Yes, correct. I was traveling overseas quite often previously when working in the lift industry. So when I travel to Germany, Switzerland, I can notice that for my colleague there, actually the lift technicians earn more than the manager because they have the skill. They have the skill. A technician can quite easily take over a manager job, paperwork, but a manager can't take over the technician job. You see the difference.
Yeah.
For a paperwork manager to take over a technician job, it may take 3 years to learn. For a technician, especially now with ChatGPT AI to take over manager job, maybe just 1 week. Just 1 week. And now those paper manager is getting more and more risky because of the ChatGPT coming in, AI coming in, admin work, paperwork, a lot of people, quotation, tender, those AI can do for us. But hands-on, AI can't do it for us. We still have to go to job site to do it. So this will be the future.
Well, you would be a good case study for that, actually, right, Dr. Lee? Because you started hands-on as well, and you had
Yes,
TVET,
correct.
and then obviously you've held leadership positions. You still have leadership positions, and working closely with the Malaysian government. So it is possible to have the technical hands-on background and then transition to a leadership position. Would you agree with that?
Yes, correct. Yeah, correct.
So it makes you more effective because why you actually know the technical specifics of the job itself. So that's a very important lesson basically for our engineering thinkers out there. Keep in mind that skills-based employment and certification is going to be very important moving forward. So we thank Dr. Lee for sharing the case studies and introducing TVET to all of us. And especially for those of you who are still looking into training and education, look into TVET and consider investing your time into it, because it's going to pay off in dividends, not just economically, of course that's important with the salaries and job opportunities, but also increases your mastery of the field. And I'm sure Dr. Lee can agree that the TVET is the way of the future. So that concludes section 2 of our podcast show, and stand by for our next final segment, the creative section. Stay with us. Thanks. Engineering thinkers, welcome back to the show. We're now at the last segment of our show entitled the creative section. And here we're going to have the opportunity to ask Dr. Lee about the future of engineering here in Malaysia, and also we'll discuss a little bit about the current trends that's happening globally with engineering employment and with tech as well, but also his general view of what a completed engineering graduate should look like for the modern age. So Dr. Lee, for this section, we'll talk about the future, right? And so in North America, we'll talk about the US specifically, we've seen over 40 to 50,000 jobs eliminated because of AI, because these big companies have decided, well, we're going to cut the staff and replace it with AI. Sooner or later, I think that this trend will come to Malaysia, as usually these trends do. They sort of transmit worldwide from the US. I want to ask you, how can programs like TVET help to prevent this?
Okay, the trend already started in Malaysia. If you are the business owner, in the current competitive age, you will try to find ways to minimize the overhead and get the job done. There is always, if you are managing director company, we want to minimize the overhead, minimize the cost, and get the job done as much as possible so that we can have the profit in the shortest time. Okay, what happened now? What happened now compared with 30 years ago? So 30 years ago, 20 years ago, when I was an engineer, what I do is I write assembly language. For those study computer system or engineering, E&E, you will know assembly language. So I would need to take time to write assembly language to move this pin to this pin. So it would take us as engineer to write assembly language to do some robotic, for example.
Right.
So what happened now? Nowadays with the AI coming in, ChatGPT, you can actually try. You can actually try. You just put in the requirement. I want to use this microprocessor, for example, 8051 or 8751. I want you to write assembly language to turn on a light with 50 watt, whatever. You just press the button, ask the AI. In 5 seconds, you get the assembly language. I will have the program. So when I have the program, then I will have to build the prototype, the hardware to turn on the light. So those engineers who actually write programming will become obsolete or useless already, because why? It replaced by AI. And what I will need in the company, I will need people to build the hardware, because the hardware is still required for to build in order to make it work, but not the software. So a lot of those soft skill or those that we can work on the tables, papers, will be replaced by AI sooner or later.
So obviously that's quite scary, because a lot of individuals will be sort of graduating from their courses into this new business climate, I guess you can say, right, with large companies expelling huge volumes of positions to AI. But according to what we've learned from you today, Dr. Lee, TVET can actually help to slow that down, because you still can't replace the skilled hands-on portion of engineering jobs, I suppose. Is that accurate to say?
TVET actually not slow now the AI. The AI is still AI, will still go accordingly.
Right.
So what TVET do is, TVET is a skill that we acquire, something we acquire which AI can't do it. It's totally different.
Right.
So, for example, the example is if we have the TVET skill, we know how to build the circuitry, how to build the design, everything by hand. It's not that we design, we don't know how to do. But the computer system, all this paperwork, or how to do the marketing, promotion, sales, engineering job, AI can do it. Okay, so we are doing something that for TVET is a skill that AI can do it.
Right. Okay. So that's going to be, I suppose, a safeguard against the new trend of
Correct.
AI eliminating positions worldwide, right? And I think here in Malaysia, it's going to happen sooner than people think, and so that's why it's rather urgent, I would say. I think Dr. Lee has spent the last 4 years trying to raise awareness of TVET and getting people into the program. Is basically to avoid situations like these, yeah? And Dr. Lee, you also mentioned that perhaps people are, like you say, over-reliant on technology.
Correct.
Without the basic fundamental engineering skills, like skill sets. And so because of their over-reliance on technology, now it looks like technology will be replacing them in the future, right? So it's a word of caution, I would say. It's something that is also preventable because, like we covered in the second segment of the show, Dr. Lee already mentioned, the opportunity is there. It just takes time and determination to get through your formal academic training, I suppose you want to say that, the theory side, and it's always supplementing. It's always building on what you already know, and I believe that Dr. Lee can agree with me. TVET is the best way to supplement what you already know.
Correct.
Right. So, Dr. Lee, I also want to ask you, since we talked about TVET and professional engineering credentials, what is the next 5 years going to look like for you in terms of education and training regards to engineering courses?
What will happen is for the next 5 years, whatever we have in the universities, academic will still proceed. But if you notice that all these university, especially government university, what they start to do is they have side-by-side going on. Okay, means they have academic, they have TVET. So they're setting up a simulator. For example, simulator how to repair car. They have sponsorship from maybe Toyota, Proton to put the car there to let you learn how to repair the car while you study automotive engineering. Okay, so they are going side by side now. So more and more universities start to have the same thing. By the time you graduate in engineering, you have a certain specialized skill in TVET, but it's not compulsory. So if you're already studying in the university, please look for this opportunity. If the university offer you additional supplementary course on TVET, please capture whatever you think is your hobby, you're interested in.
Right. And Dr. Lee, I think you mentioned this before already, but the academic institutions themselves should actually be able to advise students about which TVET courses are applicable to them, or is it just something that they have to know by themselves and research by themselves? Which is it? Should they ask the university to guide them or just research the resource alone? What do you think is the best?
It will depend on the which university that you are in.
Right.
In order for the university or colleges or institute to do TVET course, the setup capital is huge. It's not just like we need a classroom or lecture hall. You can have 300 students sitting there with the professor in front of you teaching. So at the same time, you can have 300 students. But for TVET courses, per class, maximum is only 25% allowed because the practicality, you can't perform it. So in order to set up TVET class or courses, huge capital. So the private sector of a university may not want to do it. They may keep quiet about it. Or maybe when you approach them, they'll say, no, it's not necessary. TVET is something that for technician, you're not technician, you're an engineer. So that sometimes you cannot depend on the university that you're in. You need to do some research yourself, what is actually in the market, what is required. So one of the ways is you can ask around your friends, relatives, you ask them, what is required for me to perform in your company? So a lot of them may say that, currently I do not need translator anymore because AI will translate for me. Currently I do not need PA or secretary anymore because AI will book air ticket for me, will do this, do for me. So you will start to understand what AI will take over and what kind of engineering skill that is required. So from there, then if your current university do not have this kind of courses, you have to look elsewhere because the university may not be so honest with you that they have this kind of courses because the setup is expensive, it's very expensive.
Just going by that, to expand on that a little bit, so does this mean that, in your view, your forecast for the future, next 5 years, is that universities that do not have TVET support or some sort of TVET twinning program, they're actually going to be less competitive than other institutions that do offer this? Is that true?
Correct, exactly. That is my predictions.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So you can imagine a university student graduate with degree in engineering mechanical, and another one graduate same with degree in engineering mechanical, but the guy got a special cert on the welding. So when he do any welding, he assign for it. But the other guy, or just academic, when you do the welding, the government will say this welding is void. Because do welding, you need the skill cert. Without the skill cert, whatever you weld is actually void by the government. It's actually one of the requirements. So you will know that those students have both the certificate will be more high demand in the market. You fetch a higher salary, and automatically when the news spread, those universities without the double academic or qualification for academic and TVET will lose out.
So it's very important. But basically, it's not just important for people that want to start their engineering journey. It's also important for the institutions themselves.
Correct.
To actually start looking at TVET and saying, we should probably invest into this because, or not, we're going to lose out on enrollments, right? People are not going to choose your institution over something that's going to give them an edge in it's going to be a very competitive market since AI is going to be shedding a lot of positions in the future. So the remaining positions will only be filled up by the really outstanding individuals. So it looks like TVET is going to give people that edge. Was that accurate to say?
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Right. So let's have a bit of a creative exercise now. Let's say I'm someone that hasn't started their engineering journey yet. Could you give me, based on your experience, since we talk about TVET and the dangers of not anticipating AI positions, I mean, basically taking over positions, how would you plan out for our listeners and our viewers, how would you plan out, shall we say, a professional career roadmap for them? How can they best prepare? So what would you say they should do? For example, should they go to an engineering faculty and then do TVET at the same time, or get a degree first, then work, then get TVET? How would you sort of have that imaginary person, in your view, be successful?
Okay, so thank you. After having as a professional engineer since age of 27, I realized one thing is you need to do something that fit your interest. It means if for example the electronic engineering or E&E not suitable to you, it's not your interest, please don't do it. Because I have many friends who actually study engineering, at the end they are not doing engineering at all, totally out. Because at the end they say that study engineering is actually my parents' vision, it's not me. So first thing is choose something that you like to do. So for example now, you have choose engineering courses. Your decision, yes, I want to be engineer. Then you have to choose whether it's E&E, mechanical, civil, what's suitable for you. So after choosing that course, then you find the university that suit your budget, your reputation or location that suit you. Maybe you want Malaysia or you want abroad, it depends. But at the end, as an engineer, just a doctor, at the end of the journey, if you really want to complete as an engineer, you must be a PEPC in Malaysia. If you are not a PEPC, it's actually your journey is not completed. It's just like I want to be a doctor. I'm a very good person that can cure any sickness, but I'm not a registered doctor. So you can't practice. So a real engineer, like it or not, at the end, you have to be a PEPC. So you have to plan your journey. Select a courses that can register with the Board of Engineers Malaysia. Then when you graduate, you register as a graduate engineer. Then you get your PE. Then you get your PEPC. At the same time, now because AI coming in, with the TVET coming in, at the same time, you spend a bit of time to make your skill more specialized. It's up to you. You have to choose something that you really, really like. okay, specializations. So specialization now is the way for the future. A general knowledge can't earn you much. We can go back to doctor, same thing. A doctor who open clinic is very competitive because you're just a GP. But when you are a specialized doctor, you earn a lot more and very high demand. That's the specialization and GP. It's the same. Okay, skill plus engineering degree, PPC, and just the basic skill can't move you too far.
Then can I ask you, Dr. Lee, because you mentioned, right, because doctors, they have specialists, but then they have to study a bit longer to get the specialist qualifications. But what you're telling our viewers is that actually you can be a specialist in engineering field too. So how long does it take to get the specialization? Is it done through the TVET program specifically, or is that just the start? The TVET program is just a start, and then you have to find specialization elsewhere. What would you recommend for people to do?
Okay, if we are with the graduate engineer, if you look at the board engineer in Malaysia, there is not many specialization that we can do. You can register as an engineer, like for example, electronic engineering, E&E, electrical, civil, mechanical, mechatronic. It's quite limited. So the real PEPC, when you register board engineer in Malaysia, you're not ready to specialize. Actually not. The specialization go through TVET. So if you have a TVET level 5, then you're very specialized, but not PPC. PPC is something that is actually to fulfill the law for you to sign the drawing, but you're not specialized. By signing the drawing, there's a few hundred engineers out there can also sign the drawing. How much can you earn? If you don't sign, another person will sign for you. But when you are specialized as a doctor, you are specialized because you can solve the problem for them and you can get job done. So that's how it works.
But that's going to be very important because we've just been discussing about job security, right? So anything that gives the future graduates that extra edge. I suppose, to summarize your career roadmap for our engineering thinkers, is basically make sure that you are PEPC certified at the end of the day to actually practice being a professional engineer, right? That's important. But what you're also saying is, since we spent a lot of our time today discussing TVET, TVET can also be the pathway that helps you move into your specialized fields. That's going to make you more, shall we say, desirable by the industry. Also, it makes you be able to be more productive, right, in your day-to-day work because you know the subject matter so well. And I think, is that accurate to say that those are what will complete the graduate engineer moving forward?
Yes, exactly correct. So we can have another situation to make it easier to understand a layman. For example, you open a restaurant. You employ a chef to cook for you. One day, you open the restaurant at 5 p.m., the chef say, I'm sick, I didn't come. So who's going to cook? So if you already have the skill, we as owner, we can cook because we know how to perform. So we can actually replace the chef because we have the skill to work. That is actually we're talking about the skill set, or else then the chef we have that don't come to work, your restaurant we have to close. So it's exactly the same. So we ourselves, no matter what we do, we should have the skill. So then we can perform either in business or in our career easier. But when you're working for a company, big organization, if you're up there as like directors, your technician may tell you, hey sir, to do this wiring, it will take 1 week. Not possible to do it 3 days. Then if I am a TVET certified person, I have the skill to do it. I say, come, I teach you how to do now. I can do it in 1 hour. If I can do it in 1 hour, I want you to do it in 3 hours. I can show them how to do. But if you do not have the skill how to do it, people actually can bluff you. That need this, need that it's always employee will give you all sorts of reasons to do it longer because they want to be more relaxed. They will say that the boss do not know how to do it, so let us bluff the boss. So it will be very difficult for you to have the leadership skill or stay up there if you really do not have the skill or knowledge to manage them.
Right. And since we're talking about the future, Dr. Lee, what do you think about trying to change people's mentality about the usual route of, you know, you got to have an engineering degree, whatever it is, you have to go to engineering school, right? So, I mean, obviously, we spent a lot of time for this episode to try and tell people actually there's another way. Do you think it's going to be easier or more challenging as you move forward the next 5 years to actually raise the awareness of TVET as a TVET master, what do you think? Is it feasible that people actually change? I mean, yes, you said that proceed with the degree, but people still need to understand the importance and the value of the TVET programs. What do you think about that?
In my last few years' experience on TVET, it's actually very difficult to convince people to do it. It's very, very difficult. I would say that, of course, there's several people motivated themselves, they pay themselves for the TVET courses, get themselves certified, and they got a very good future, yes. But generally, public won't actually accept it unless they have no choice. Just like example, one of my friends secure a government job. And when he want to start the project, the government actually write to them, before you start, can you give me the manpower list, and I want to see their skill certificate. Then they was actually shocked because all their people are not certified and they can't actually start work. They have to cancel the PO. Okay, so a lot of them, they have to learn by the hard way. Okay, not many people will be more proactive, because why? Many business owners will say that, why should I pay for it? Why should I pay? They will try not to pay to get their people certified unless they have no choice. Yeah. So they may have to learn it the hard way. Of course, the government nowadays, they try to promote, do a lot of promotion. Even actually some of the TVET courses are actually fully sponsored by government. You no need even to pay a single cent. And also HRDF claimable. But you have to send your people to have to study, and the exam, you have to take them out from the work, whether the bosses agree to take them out for the work or not. But it's sponsored by government actually. So government do a lot of sponsorship now for TVET.
Yes, so this is also perhaps part of the responsibility of the business owners and the bosses, I suppose, as you mentioned them, to actually have the foresight and the vision to say, well, it's worth me taking XYZ personnel out from the line to actually sit for the exam, get certified, so that when the government comes for enforcement, then we don't suddenly have that urgency come up from nowhere. So I think that's one of the challenges that you're still sort of experiencing, right, Dr. Lee, just getting people to have that proactive mindset, saying you don't have to wait until the enforcement agency knocks on your door. You can send your people out to get certified.
I would say that it will take some time for them to do it. Okay, some bosses, of course, they will think long term to get their people certified. So what happens is, when they get their people certified, the competitor not getting the employee certified, when the competitor is having trouble without their people certified, the competitor will go and pinch their employee who is certified. So the employee maybe currently salary is 3,000, you come over here, I give you 4,000. So the company, they really think of long term to get their people certified, we're losing all the employee because the other side is not being certified. So they're having this problem. But this is the issue that we have to go through. There'll be one day that there'll be more and more people certified, and it will not happen. But it's a journey that we have to go through.
Right. So I guess it's a problem that eventually solves itself, because if everyone knows that this is what is desired, then everyone will have the impetus, they'll be motivated to actually go be part of TVET. Then if everyone has a certification, then the industry as a whole won't have to experience this growing pains anymore.
Correct.
And it's also going to be better, I think, for your vision of engineering here in Malaysia, right? Because if everyone has the desired traits of being certified by TVET, then that brings us closer to becoming a sort of a developed nation, right? Because that's how we view the ratio of engineer to the masses. Would you agree with that, Dr. Lee?
Yeah, that's correct. So TVET, for information, TVET is not just on the technical skill. One of the TVET requirement to pass is the safety. How to do your job in the safe way. They will learn, the candidate will learn how to do the job in the safe way to protect themselves and also to protect the public. So safety is one of the criteria to pass the TVET exam. So TVET is something that good is actually to protect their life and also to protect the public safety. Okay.
Right. So it's linked to OSHA.
Linked to OSHA, correct.
Right. And OSHA is also codified by Malaysian law, right? Because
correct.
It's necessary to practice engineering safely, because it involves lives.
And for your information, previously OSHA, the penalty is 50,000. Now has increased to 500,000 and or 2 years jail. And one of the requirements as an employer, you have to train, you're responsible to train your employees so they have the skill to work. Under the OSHA Act, there is one section now new, the new OSHA Act called risk assessment. If you go to DOSH or JKP Facebook, you can see that the current all these penalties start to come in. What is failing, why they get penalty for those companies is they fail to do risk assessment. So one of the risk assessment is, have you actually done the risk assessment that whether your worker have the skill to work or not? So that's where the TVET is actually part of the risk assessment. If you are sending your worker to a job site that do not have the skill to work, when your worker get hurt or killed, you are highly responsible for it. Up to 500,000 and or 2 years jail. Currently, it's already happening. Already, you can refer to the JKP Facebook. More and more, this kind of thing is happening.
So actually, there are already case studies
There already is, yes, yeah.
Of people getting hit by those penalties.
Yes, correct.
So it's actually being taken very seriously, and the enforcement
yes.
as well.
And with the new law, the previous law is only the company will get the penalty. They say 300,000 company pay. But with the new law, the director or the HR or the superior, they themselves are also liable now, not the company. So let's say, for example, I am a technical manager. I ask my engineer to go to job site to work. They have engineering degree, but they don't have the right skill to work at the site. They do know the safety. They get killed. So I will be liable as a technical manager or director because I never actually train my people well to do it. When go to court, even though I resign from the current company, I will still liable because under the law now, we have the personal liability.
I see. But I think it's also important that people go through the TVET certification, get certified, also conduct safety assessments, not just because of liability, but also because of it's ethical, right? It's part of ethical engineering. We want to be able to see future engineers come out to the workplace, do their jobs, and then actually have the foresight to think about how's my work going to impact those around me. Especially if we talk about public, because engineers, you know, I mean, obviously you're also involved in the property and real estate development, so you know the importance of having strong foundations and safe buildings and all that, right? And so I think it's not just we think about enforcement, which of course is important, and the legality of it, but also the ethics behind it, I think, is very appropriate here, I think, right? So overall, would you say, Dr. Lee, that despite the challenges, sort of getting people to change their mentality about TVET, overall you're quite optimistic though that eventually Malaysia will become this skilled engineering country?
Of course, we can look at this way. They have no choice.
Right.
They have no choice. Just like when you drive a car, red light, you have to stop. You have no choice because this is the law now. So sooner or later, whether you do it now or do it later, we will make it because law is the law that we have to comply. And that is the way to do business now.
Right, that's true. And Dr. Lee, I'm sure you're also doing your best to accelerate that, making sure people do get their certifications. And I mean, you're also training the future TVET masters to train more. So hopefully, with your continued efforts, we will actually see more people certified, and more certified people means less accidents at the workplace, which is what we just discussed, very important. But also to help to combat the new trend of AI taking over jobs, right? So to our engineering thinkers, I hope that you have taken all of Dr. Lee's advice to heart. It has been, I think, very beneficial. It's very eye-opening, actually, because a lot of people, I think those of you watching, those of you listening, have been unaware of the importance of TVET and how it will continue to develop moving forward. So I'm now going to conclude the third segment, the creative section of our show. So please stand by for our closing remarks. Cheers. Engineering thinkers, thank you for joining us all the way until the conclusion of our episode today. We've been very pleased to have Dr. Lee with us to talk about TVET, also to share his experiences and to provide all of you with a practical, realistic roadmap to success. But also, I'd like to say that I've learned a lot. It's been very eye-opening for me to learn about TVET and also to be optimistic and to be excited about the future of engineering here in Malaysia. So now I would also like to give a huge thanks, of course, to our sponsor and our crew here at MMM Berhad studios. They have always been looking after us, and we're always very pleased to be a part of their production. And also to all of you for joining us and for being a part of the sharing here with Dr. Lee. And I'm sure that all of you will be able to plan your future out more effectively. And always remember our favorite tagline. We always close with this statement: greater engineer,
greater world. So as a young engineers, I will advise you that first thing that is good for you to complete your engineering degree. Then after that, to join the society, to contribute to the society. As what we mentioned about TVET, try to venture into TVET also, because TVET is important for you to improve your skill so that AI will not replace you. So we as engineers, when we are working, try to make your mind open, don't be in the comfort zone, learn as much as possible, because from my experience, most successful engineer, one day you will be the top management of the company. So for us, as an engineer, we have the competitive advantage because we have good foundations, we have good analytical mind, logical thinking, which enable us to sit at the top management of the company, especially engineering company.
Hello engineering thinkers, thank you for joining us in our program today. We'd like to invite you to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and also follow us on our other platforms such as Buzzsprout, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. The links for all those will be in the description below. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode, but we have so much more planned for you. So make sure you don't miss out on exciting guests and topics to come. Cheers!